afternoon. Dr. Latimer?
Yes. Have you an appointment?
Oh, no, I'm not a patient. I'm a reporter. I want to ask you a few questions about your article in the medical journal, sir.
Oh. Well, what did you want to know?
Well, is this new drug a cure, Doctor?
Well, of course it isn't. Surely I made that quite clear, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, it's quite clear to the medical profession that the Daily Courier has 5 million readers who can't even read a doctor's prescription.
Neither can most of the doctors. Well, I'm sorry. There's really nothing more I can tell you.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm sorry to have troubled you.
Oh, that's all right.
Look, Dr. Latimer, I've got to write something about this article of yours. Can't you give me a few personal details?
Personal details?
Yes. I know you've got what's called a fashionable practice, film stars, diplomats, debutantes, so obviously you must...
Look, I'm a doctor. I'm not interested in publicity.
I don't know, but there must be something. How old are you? What are your hobbies?
I've no hobbies, no wife, and I regret to say no capital. Dr. Latimer speaking.
Hello, Doc. This is Charles.
Who?
Charles Kaufman.
Charles! How are you?
I'm fine.
Where are you speaking from?
Prestwick.
What?
I'm at Prestwick.
Prestwick? What on earth are you doing at Prestwick?
We hit fog. The plane was diverted.
Well, that'll teach you. Haven't you heard about our weather?
Howard, listen. Could you pick up
What?
an actress called
What?
Rita Belden at London Airport?
Well, Charles, I'd like to help, but it's difficult. I've got a date this evening.
She's arriving on the 3:15 from Berlin.
Well, can't you get somebody else to do it?
There's no time.
Well-
Proper at Claridge's.
Well, all right, Charles, all right. For the sake of Anglo-American relations, yes, I'll try and fix it. What'd you say her name was?
Rita Belden.
Belden, Frida Belden. All right, don't worry.
I'll be in London tomorrow
Yep.
morning. Phone me.
I'll ring you at Claridge's tomorrow.
Be nice to her, Doc.
Yeah.
She's a sweetie.
Bye now.
Did you say Frida Belden was coming over here?
Yes, do you know her?
Yes, she's a German film star. Quite a dish.
Well, she's been served up at the wrong time.
Why?
Well, I promised to meet her at London Airport at 6 o'clock, and I got a date tonight.
Well, I'll run you down there. It's a good story.
Well, that's very nice of you. Sure it's not too much trouble?
No, this is business. Come on.
Well, thanks.
Miss Belden coming over here to make a film?
Yes, I suppose so. She's on the contract to a friend of mine, Charles Kaufman.
Why doesn't he meet her?
Well, he intended to. He flew over from New York, but his plane was diverted to Scotland.
Oh, I see.
He wants me to pick her up and take her to Claridge's.
Flight number 155 to Dublin. A further announcement concerning the departure of this flight will be made at approximately 12.
Could you help me? I'm trying to find a Miss Frida Belden. She's on flight 195 from Berlin.
Miss Frida Belden?
Yes, that's right.
One moment, sir.
Will Miss Frida Belden, BEA passenger on flight 195 from Berlin, kindly report to the General Inquiry Desk. Miss Frida Belden, please.
Miss Frida Belden, Passagier der BEA, Flugnummer 195 von Berlin. Wird gebeten, sich am Hauptschalter zu melden.
I found her. She's waiting in the car.
Good. So, you're a friend of Charles?
Charles?
Charles Kaufman.
I hope we shall be friends. I do not know.
You sound rather doubtful. He was sorry he couldn't meet you, but he's been delayed. He won't be here till tomorrow.
Your friend explained that.
Will you, do you mind if I do?
No, of course not.
Thank you.
You'd better keep them. It will be cheaper than buying a new lighter.
It's very nice of you. Thank you very much. Windsor, will you be good enough to drop me off at Hyde Park Corner? I'll pick up a taxi.
Yes, okay.
You have to leave us, Dr. Latimer?
Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm rather late for an appointment already. Mr. Windsor will take you to Claridge's.
You have been most kind.
No, not at all. Thank you.
sorry I'm late. Shh. You missed a wonderful show, Squire. 2 solid hours of Beethoven. Shh. I said I'm sorry I'm late.
I've heard that before.
You haven't heard this one before. You know, when we get married, you'll be forced to listen to me.
Who said anything about getting married?
I did.
Now, look here. Shh. Shh. Shh.
Hello? Oh, one moment, sir. It's Dr. Kimber.
Hello, Kimber.
Sorry to bother you, Latimer, but I've got a patient I'd rather like you to look at. A Mrs. Ambler.
Oh. What seems to be the trouble?
Well, she's been getting pretty bad migraine, amongst other things.
I see. Well, I'm afraid it'll have to be this evening. 6 o'clock suit her? Well, I can understand the migraine, Mrs. Ambler. I'm sure we can do something about that. But this other matter...
But it is this other matter that I'm most anxious about, Dr. Latimer. Was it an hallucination?
You say you were walking across Hampstead Heath?
Why, yes, Doctor, I told you. I was walking across the heath when suddenly I stumbled across a dead man. There was blood all over his face and hands, and by the side of the body was a brass candlestick. Naturally, I was terrified. I ran across the heath and stopped the first person I saw. But when we returned, the body had disappeared. There was no sign of it.
And the blood?
There was no blood and no candlestick. Was it an hallucination?
Could you describe the man you saw, Mrs. Ambler?
Why, yes. He was about 40, dark and quite good-looking. There was a little cut at the side of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. And the candlestick?
Well, it was made of brass with a screw top and had a very heavy square base to it.
I see. Have you seen one like it before?
No, I don't think so. Not exactly like it.
Tell me, Mrs. Ambler, do you think the body could have been moved while you were looking for someone?
No, I don't think so. I was only away 3 or 4 minutes. No, I'm sure it couldn't.
But you're quite sure that you saw it?
Why, yes. I am quite sure.
Well, there's nothing to worry about. But I think I'll have a word with a psychiatrist friend of mine, and I'll see you again, probably one day next week, eh? Thank you.
Yes, well, I think I've got that all pretty clear now, thank you, Doctor.
Well, I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, Inspector.
Oh, on the contrary, sir, you've been most helpful.
You know, what I can't understand is how the devil she got here.
It isn't far from Claridge's, sir. She could have walked.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, what was she doing in my flat? I never set eyes on the girl till last night.
Yes. Mr. Windsor came to interview you and finally drove you to London Airport. Then, at the request of a Mr. Kaufman, you met Miss Veldon. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
By the way, have you contacted Mr. Kaufman yet?
No, he hasn't telephoned. I've had a pretty busy day.
Well, sir?
I've been on to Claridge's, sir. They don't seem to have heard of Miss Veldon. Or Mr. Kaufman.
You say Dr. Latimer arrived at the concert hall at about 8:30.
Yes.
And he gave you to understand that he had been detained at the clinic.
Yes. Well, either at the clinic or St. Matthew's, I don't know which.
Was it unusual for Dr. Latimer to be late for an appointment?
Not at all unusual. He frequently keeps me waiting. In fact, it's rather a bone of contention between us.
As I can imagine. And he never mentioned Miss Veldon to you?
No. No, he didn't.
Do you suppose he mentioned her to any other member of the party?
I should very much doubt it. If he did, it was probably to Ken Palmer.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes?
My name is Dane, Inspector Dane. I'm investigating the Veldon case. I wondered whether you'd mind answering a few questions for me.
Yes, of course. Come in.
Thank you.
Can I get you some coffee?
Thank you, no. First of all, when Dr. Latimer arrived at the concert hall on Thursday night, did he say anything to you about meeting Miss Veldon?
Not a word, no. He didn't get there till after the interval. Or was it just before? Anyway, it was pretty late.
No, thank you.